The work of our Confederation happens town by town in communities across the province. Our success relies heavily on the support of every MPP in every community across Ontario. So for your ongoing and tireless commitment to the lives of people who have an intellectual disability and their families, we thank you and we look forward to working with you in the coming year. Together, we have again taken some important steps forward. And we acknowledge, for example, new investments in supports and services in the recent budget. We are pleased that the government listened to our recommendation to improve the level of assets a person can hold and the gifts they can receive without affecting their ODSP payments.
Community Living Day is important to all of us because it reminds us that community living with a small c and a small l is not just a possibility for people with an intellectual disability, but a right.
Today, I would like to address the issue of poverty and the harm it causes. I would also like to acknowledge the work of all members of Parliament to make things better for people. Poverty, for many people who have an intellectual disability, is the biggest barrier in living a decent life. How can anyone feel safe or secure when we don't have enough money to meet our basic needs? Being poor is not an acceptable way to live. When you're poor, nothing else matters. Living in poverty is stressful and can affect your health, your self-esteem, and ability to live independently.
I've now visited 15 community living agencies across the province, and I'm so impressed with the work that I see people doing each and every day to ensure that the supports and services are there for the most vulnerable in our society, those who need that extra help, to be included in our communities. We really are in the midst of a transformation of how we look after those with developmental disabilities. We've closed the institutions, we've moved out into the community, but we still have a lot more work to do, as Chris has said. In this year's budget, what we have proposed is an additional $677 million over 4 years. And what we are going to do with that is, of course, increase the number of people accessing Passport, but we're also doing something that I think is extremely important, which is addressing specialized housing supports for individuals who perhaps have come in contact with the justice system, those that are perhaps inappropriately placed in long-term care facilities and in hospitals. These are urgent cases to ensure that people get the type of support they need out in the community. And seeing you all here just reminds me that we need to continue to work with you, to listen to you, to hear from you just exactly how we move forward and what the best plan for each individual is. So thank you so very much.
Community living associations are often the first touch point for families reaching out for help. And I'm sure it can sometimes feel overwhelming to care for a loved one with an intellectual disability. You provide vital day programs, residential living, and government and employment help that enrich the lives of people with intellectual disabilities and enable them to flourish. You empower people by giving them choice and allowing them to participate in decisions around their care as they are able to. And you serve as a support network for families, counseling them through difficult times and celebrating wins together.
It's one thing for those that work within an organization or someone like me, a politician, to stand before you and say things. It's another thing to actually have people who have lived experience share their stories and have other people in the community hear it. So to anybody that's in the room who has been featured in a newsletter or on the website or has come here and spoken at one of these events, I applaud you. It's not easy. I know it's not easy, but it's important that you do share your stories and share your concerns so that the government knows what work they need to do, and those of us in opposition know the issues so that we can help push the government in the right direction.